Yeah, so we're right behind Andrew right here. We are en route to go get our engine transmission. So figured I'd just take you guys along for a little bit of the ride, let you know what it is that we're doing. Yeah, we're still following Andrew. He said he knows the way, so we'll see. That's right, guys. We are back from my little road trip, and man, we got some goodies. So let's go ahead real quick, like, before I show you everything in the back. Had a lot of people ask, how much do you have in this car, like right now? I've not really kept track of it. Like I said, the whole budget thing kind of stopped a while back, and we just started taking it, you know, to the next level. We're still not going crazy with it, but like I said, the budget side of it stopped. So we're probably around, I'd say $8,000 to $9,000 right now in the car total. Everything starts getting really expensive, you know, once you start doing interior and the seats and all that stuff. That's where a lot of our money went. As far as engine wise, that's all been pretty cheap so far, other than the heads and stuff. Yeah, we're probably a good $9,000 into this car now, just because of that. But although it's not finished, it's very close to being finished, and we already, like, pretty much have all the parts that we need. We just got to install them. If you look right here, we still have weather stripping that needs to be replaced. Door seals need to be tightened down. All that stuff's back here. So we have all of our new door seals. We have run channel molding, all of that type stuff. All of our lower panels, that's all got to be replaced. Under the engine bay, as you can see, it's, you know, pretty simple. We didn't go crazy with everything. The car has aluminum heads. These are the LMR SVE heads. We've got an Explorer stock upper and lower intake. We've got a 70mm throttle body, and we have the CNL mass air meter housing right here. So all of this stuff's pretty much kind of stock. So we haven't put a lot of money in the engine yet. The headers were donated from Demon Fox 5.0. It's still doable for most people. I did this really quick light, but I also had YouTube money coming in. We all know that's how I built this car. So without that, it would have taken me a lot longer, but we could have definitely done this in probably a 2-year period. That's realistic enough that you could, you know, throw $9,000, $8,000 at a car, a build, and get it done more than likely. I know some of you can't do that, but I think that's a realistic goal. But anyway, let's take a look real quick, like, at what it is that we picked up today. Guys, we got a truck full of goodies, like a lot of stuff. More stuff than we probably really needed, but for the price, I couldn't go wrong. So Tracy, thank you so much for hooking me up with a good price on all this. Guys, we got everything we need. We got our T5 right here. As far as he knows, you know, everything's good on the T5. Look at this. Guys, we got a B&M shifter right here. So that's awesome. Something else we don't have to buy. We've got another block. There's nothing wrong with the block. Crankshaft, headers. Oh, these are stock headers, so don't really help us a whole lot. Got stock heads, drive shaft, which you can't go wrong there. Upper and lower intake. The lower intake is the same as a Foxbody, but not the upper intake. They are a little different, so I won't be using any of that anyway. But we got injectors, fuel rail. This is a really good haul, guys, really good. I'm super excited about this. We've got all the pistons and rods down here. You know, we're still trying to decide how we're gonna do this. We very well may put some new bearings, get everything cleaned up, and basically have us an engine ready to go just in case something happens to this one over here. Or we're going to do a stroker, so a budget stroker. I'm not going to go all out and buy, you know, the whole forged kit and everything like that. We would do more of just like a street setup type stroker deal. So I'm not sure on that. I'm not sure what exactly we're going to do yet, but we could throw like a 347 kit at this, one of those budget kits for about $1,000, and have all that taken care of. That way when this motor goes out, we're good to go. We'll just have to wait and see. Have to see where the money is, and that'll be definitely a next year type deal. But it's possibly doable. If you guys keep watching these ads and keep watching these videos, then there's a good chance that we will have a little stroker built next year. We got probably a worn out clutch. It looks like it's got some wear on it, but we do have pretty much a brand new clutch that we can throw in this, and a flywheel. Obviously, guys, you know, a 5-speed has a flywheel versus the automatic has a flex plate. I know pretty much all of you guys know that. If you're going from an AOD to a 5-speed, you're gonna have to have a flywheel, and you're gonna have to have longer bolts also, because your flex plate bolts are a lot shorter, and I don't know if we have those in here, so we may have to round some up, but we're gonna have to have flywheel bolts. Let's take a look at what we got though. Yeah, Oh, this is an aftermarket clutch though. Ooh, that's not good. Look at that. I didn't even see that before. So he said that they took this engine apart because it had like a knocking noise. I bet you that's why. Because he said once they pulled it apart, that wasn't the issue. There was nothing wrong with the engine. I bet you that was a problem. Yeah, we won't be using this clutch, obviously. Flywheel looks pretty good. It's got some hot spots on it, so we may just get it resurfaced. I know a lot of you will say, you know, go buy a flywheel, but guys, that's just extra money right now that we don't need to spend. That's $400 for a good flywheel. So we'll probably just get this thing resurfaced, or I'll just resurface it myself, hit it with a sander, clean it all up, and we will throw the King Cobra clutch in this for now. So basically what we're going to do is put everything in the car, and then we'll upgrade later on. So you guys know how we like to do it. We're going to throw what we have in here, as long as it's not complete junk, and we're going to get this thing running with a 5-speed in it, and then all we got to do is come back later on and replace and upgrade parts. So that's how we're going to do this. We got the clutch fork. I mean, guys, we got about everything we need. We are going to replace the throwout bearing though, because that's obviously smart. And we're also going to have a pilot bearing for this, because the backside of this crankshaft is not going to have a pilot bearing in it, considering it's an AOD. So we'll go over all this type stuff of everything that you're going to need later on once we start putting all of this together. I kind of want to go ahead and start on it like right now, but it's Sunday. I've got Krager over with me, and I'm going to spend some time with him, so I'm not going to touch this yet. Stay tuned though, because we are going to tear into the Calypso clone here pretty soon. Guys, I'm excited. I had a lot of people say, why didn't you just spend the money and put a TKO in it, or do this or do that? I'm just not a TKO guy. I'm just not. They break just like T5s break. Maybe not as easy, but if you don't know what you're doing with one of these and you go throw a lot of clutch at a T5 or a TKO, you over clutch it with something like a Spec Stage 3 or something like that, and that thing grabs really hard and you're dumping the clutch from the line, you're pretty much going to break it. So secret to success with these transmissions, don't over clutch it. Run, you know, a decent clutch like a King Cobra, a Spec Stage 1, something like that, something that doesn't grab super hard, and learn how to work your clutch, because that's what's going to save your transmission. All right, well, I got Krager over here. I'll tell you what, I'll just set you up. We'll get a little time lapse going. We're going to get all this stuff kind of shoved under the table over here, and I'll get back to you guys with my final thoughts on everything in just a few minutes. Whatever's gonna look good on YouTube.
I wanted to make sure you took up at least part of the frame, so then your face was visible.
Alright guys, one other thing I forgot about. Also, we got a camshaft with the deal. And this is F303 cam. So we have an F303 cam out of the deal. It's got a little bit of surface rust on it, but you guys know with these roller cams, all you gotta do is touch that up and you'll be just fine. We'll probably keep this and throw it in something else at some point, but hey, we do have an F303 cam to go along with it. But anyway, let's talk about the flywheel real quick. So on it, it's just got some surface rust. So let's get that off and let's see what this thing really looks like. So I'm just going to take some steel wool here and a little bit of degreaser, just kind of run over everything, knock some of this rust off the top. You know, and I know a lot of you out there are cringing right now thinking, man, why would you do this? Why do you half-ass everything? I know what works and what doesn't work. I've learned through the years, and I'm not saying that I'm some great mechanic or anything. As long as this thing is not warped up, it's going to be fine, guys. You can sand this thing with probably some 320 grit, something like that. Hit it with some sandpaper on a D8 and you're good to go. I mean, I've done it for years and years. I'm not trying to get, you know, I'm not trying to build a 5-second car here, so it's perfectly fine. The biggest thing is you want to make sure there's no grooves in it. And to be honest with you, guys, this looks like normal wear. So what we're going to do now is take a little bit of sandpaper. I think this is 320 grit. And we're going to hit this thing, make it look a lot better. Alright, so already this thing looks a lot better, but we're going to have to take it a little bit more coarse. This thing is about worn out, this paper. So I'm going to change the paper out. We're going to go over this. Do as I say, not as I do, because I'm not going to recommend that you guys go out and try to resurface your own flywheel or anything like that, because I don't know the condition of your flywheel. And if you get out here and you start, you know, sanding on something and you gouge it up and you don't know what you're doing, then you can mess things up. Or it just needed to be either resurfaced by a professional or replaced, and you put this thing back in and you ruin your new clutch. I'm going off feel here. I'm going off a little bit of experience. And remember, guys, this is budget stuff. You know, I don't have $400 to throw at this thing right now just to put a new flywheel on it so that I'm more comfortable with it. Makes me feel better. Makes me sleep better at night. Okay, so let's look at this thing real quick. It feels really good. It looks pretty good. Like if this thing was underneath the car and you looked at it, you think, okay, that looks pretty good. The thing is, we're going to put a clutch in this car right now that really, at some point, we're probably going to upgrade anyway. We're going to go to a spec stage 1. This is we're going to be putting a used clutch that Andrew already had in this thing. So at some point, all this will probably come back out. Like I said, I know that makes a lot of you guys mad, and you hate when I do that type stuff. It's like I have to keep coming back and redoing things, and why didn't you just do it right the first time? Well, we can do it right the first time if you want to see this clutch installed next November. So that's why we do things the way we do. We're going to make it work. The car's going to run and drive, and we're going to enjoy it. And we can always come back and upgrade later. We're going to probably knock this transmission out Thanksgiving weekend. Probably take it out and possibly go ahead and get the 5-speed back in. So wish us luck on that, and we'll try to take you along for as much of the ride as possible. There's probably going to be a lot of time lapse going on with that video, and what we'll do is afterwards talk about what it takes to do these swaps. Remember, we already have the clutch pedal underneath the dash of this car, but that's going to make things so much easier for us. But all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. And as always, thanks for watching. All right, guys, so as you can see, this is a T5 out of a 95 Mustang. So what does that mean? That means the input shaft is a little bit longer. The transmission itself will physically bolt up in the car, no issues, as long as you're using the bell housing that goes with that transmission. Clutch fork is in a different position, so it could come in contact with the exhaust. We'll just have to wait and see on that. And also possibly the drive shaft may need to be shortened. Either way, we're going to check this out. We're going to find out what will work and what won't work. There's also the option of swapping out the bell housing and the input shaft for Foxbody stuff, but we don't have that, so we're going to toss this thing in right now. We're going to see if this thing will work, and I'll let you guys know.